to the Shameless plug with Crimson Vibes and Deneen's creative mind.
We spotlight the real, no shame in the game. Two queens with the mic calling out your name. From side hustle dreams to headline steam, we raise your voice, we build your team. We don't whisper, we amplify. Your story's power can't touch the sky. This ain't luck, it's divine design. You show up and we align. This is the Shameless plug, we show you love. Co-sign, you shine like stars above. Denetra and Deneen, the dream tag team. Plugged in, turned up, shameless and supreme. Let them watch you break the mold. Your biz, your brand, your story told. You're next, you're bold, the space is yours. We open paths, unlock new doors. No filters needed, just your flame. We hype your purpose, speak your name.
Plug.
Hello. Let me just say, first of all, I never ever get tired of hearing that song. Oh my God.
I know, right? It's so catchy. And
y'all can just see me backstage. I'm all, doing all of that. But anyway, welcome to the 10th episode of the Shameless Plug podcast. Yes, we are on number 10. Hold us to that because we're not really sure. But it's okay, all right?
Don't tell the people that.
Listen, we got to keep it real, right? If nothing else, we're going to keep it real, especially whatever we got going. What we got going on tonight, that's all we're going to do is just keep it real. We are going to touch on some bases that people probably don't want to hear, probably don't want to listen or talk about, but we're going to go there, all right? But as always, I am Deneen.
And I am Denetra.
D&D. Yes.
D&D.
So, girl, we got to do our little spill. How have you been? What have you been up to this last week?
I've been really good. It's my week before last was a little trying. And this week, I'm glad we're dealing with mental health because, it's like you have to have your moment. I had to have a cry. And I rarely have those kind of cries where you kind of frustrated. Yeah. And I call them cleansing tears because it's that cry to like release whatever's going on and to refresh and start anew. So I had to have a cry. And so now I'm I'm good. I feel great. So
I'm glad you're good.
Yes. Good. Well, what about you? How's your week been?
My week has been pretty quiet. It's funny that you mentioned that, for what I do when I get to that point where I'm stressed and I just like, I play my Xbox. I take out my frustration. It is my release. It's like when I'm playing, I don't have to think about what bill I got to pay, why this is that, why that bounced, why this one, whatever at work, why this one called out. I don't have to worry about anything. All I got to worry about is I'm going to snipe that person 500 feet away. That's all I got to worry about in my team. So it is a release for me and I just love it. And I think that if I didn't have it, I don't even know where I would be right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be because I feel so much better after playing a game, playing Call of Duties for hours with my friends, laughing, joking, and that is my release. And it's necessary. Good. Everyone needs some type of ice where they can release, and I'm sure that's going to come up again during our show.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it is. Yeah, this show is going to be it's important first and foremost. And tonight we're talking about first and foremost, this month is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And so tonight we have a panel and we will literally be talking about, mental health therapy, mental health services, and the importance of it in the Black community.
Yes.
So we have a great panel of some folks on here. We're going to keep it real. We're going to, like I said, somebody might be shifting in their chair because, it's uncomfortable subjects to talk about. But again, there are stigmatisms when it comes down to, mental health with us people of color. There are stigmas that goes along with it. And, we have to debunk some things and we have to just get uncomfortable. We got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable when it comes down to this, because it
Exactly.
is important.
Yes, it
Yeah.
definitely is. All
Yes.
right. So I think that, since we got a lot to talk about, we're going to get started. So what we're going to do is just read the bio and then we're going to bring them on one by one. And then once everyone is here, we're just going to go for it.
Gonna go for it. Yes.
All right. So we're going to start off with Michelle Gerard is a licensed clinical social worker with licenses in 3 states. She is currently pursuing her licensed clinical addiction specialist license and is the owner and lead therapist of Dry Bones Counseling Services, PLLC, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Michelle graduated from Fordham University with her master's degree in social work in 2013. Since then, she has worked with various populations, including veterans, underserved clientele battling dual diagnosis as mental illness and addictions, as well as special need populations. She has a special heart for women struggling with anxiety, depression, and change of life issues. Oh, man. Michelle is also a minister and incorporates biblical principles into her therapeutic approach when necessary and requested by her clients. The focus of her ministry and therapy is to help people to live again. You can find her on the website Psychology Today or on her business website, www.drybonescounseling.com, should you wish to book her. So we are going to bring Michelle on. Hi, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
One of these days we're gonna have our applause and to really welcome people, but like we said earlier, our sound guy's not here, so we gotta do it ourselves. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are blessed to have you here. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight to talk about this.
Thank you for having me.
I know, girl, all of these LLC, PLLCs, and this and that, girl, I was getting tongue-tied. Woo! How long have you been in school?
Oh, listen, you got to keep the accolade. You got to keep going and keep learning and keep adding. It's the only way to keep yourself relevant, but also to keep yourself up to date with what's going on in the community so that you can really help people. So it's not for me just to have all those letters behind my name, but it's important to have them.
Exactly. I got it. I understand. Okay. Next up, we have Shonda Johnson is currently the director of psychosocial rehabilitation for Right Path Behavioral Health Services, where the organization provides psychological rehabilitation, targeted case management, and therapeutic services for Medicaid clients. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice from South Carolina State University in 2002 and her Master's of Arts degree in professional counseling from South University in 2010. Shonda is a licensed clinician with over 14 years of experience in the clinical field, working with multiple facilities and with multiple populations, specializing in co-occurring disorder. She has worked closely with national organizations such as NAMI, which is National Alliance Mental Illness, and SAMHSA, which is Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Alliances, to provide support and promote the importance of mental health illness. Okay, so let me get her up here. Welcome, Shonda.
Hey, Shonda.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm well.
Thank you for being with us. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's, talking about mental health, especially in the African American community, is a passion of mine, and just also trying to help people with the total wellness, their mental wellness, not just their physical, but spiritual and mental health. So that's pretty much where I want to be and what I want to do. So thank you all for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's important, like you said. It's important. It's
Oh yeah.
People. I think people take their mental for granted. People think that everyone is always healthy. Everyone is they're just going through something. But yeah, you go through something. But when you go through something for a long period of time, then it's a problem. And
Exactly.
and you can honestly say, a lot of times when you hear about things going on in our community and everything, person, oh, they suffering from mental health. They suffering from mental health. Like it's always mental health, and no one is helping them. They have a problem, and no one, especially like mothers with their sons. They know they have, but they don't want to get them the help. They're afraid to get them the help. People are embarrassed to get the help. So this is why we need things like this.
Absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate it. So next up, we have actually someone who's been here before.
Yes.
Yes, we have Eddie D. I ain't gonna say your age. Is born and bred native of Valdosta, Georgia, a devoted Christian, husband, father of 2 daughters, and a babysitter of his daughter's dog. He works as a licensed marriage and family therapist. His parents are Dr. Charles E. Vincent Senior. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied tonight. Y'all forgive me. And Evelyn D. Vincent. And he's the oldest of 5 siblings. He draws inspiration for his writing from his faith, his study of relationships, and his interpersonal dynamics, and various TV shows and movies like the Mission Impossible series, Power Rangers, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yay, and Brooklyn Nine, and the Ocean 11 series. Yay! Let's bring on. Where is he? Here he is. Welcome, Eddie.
Hey,
What's
Eddie.
going on, everybody?
Hi.
What's going on? Thank you
How
so
are
much for
you?
having me. I'm fantastic. Can't complain. Can't complain. I'm just grateful to be here as always among these powerful, dynamic women that I'm surrounded by, and so certainly grateful for this opportunity to be able to speak about something that I'm passionate about when it comes to helping people to see the origins of the issues that they have and finding ways to better their lives one day, one step at a time.
Yes.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. And so Eddie, with you coming in, you're on the end of, family therapy, so we always hear about, individual therapy and people being diagnosed with certain things. But, a lot of people don't realize that those behaviors, or whatever you may want to call them, they affect the whole family. So again, it is very important not only just to treat the individual that's a patient, but those people that are around them as well, because those are the people that's going to help their loved ones cope with whatever's going on. So they need to have some kind of, systems and mechanisms on how to do things. So again, very important for family therapy as well, with everything that is going on within the Black community. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for having me.
All right. So next up, we have Renee Best, LPC, LCM, HCQS, EMDR, and Brain Spotting Certified, owner of a new U counseling service and a new coaching and consultant. Renee Best is a licensed professional counselor, the LPC, licensed clinical medical health counselor, and qualified supervisor in North Carolina. Everybody from North Carolina almost, right? She owns a new youth counseling services, a new coaching and consulting, where she empowers individuals, couples, and families with personalized and compassionate care. Certified in EMDR and brain spotting, Renee integrates these advanced therapies to help clients heal from trauma, anxiety, and other challenges. Under her leadership, a new youth counseling services has expanded across North and South Carolina, providing client-centered counseling and effective and approachable. Through a new counseling coaching and counseling, Renee supports mental health professionals in growing their careers and businesses. Outside of work, she enjoys wellness trends, outdoors activities, and nurturing community connections. Renee is dedicated to helping you become a new and live your most vibrant, authentic life. I like that. I like
Okay.
and let me get Renee up here. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Oh, look,
Yeah.
I forgot to do all the hand claps for everybody.
I know, right?
Yes.
I know. I know. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having me.
being.
I'm excited to be here with all these amazing other mental health professionals all over the state. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Yes, yes. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yes,
And
it's
now we have another reoccurring guest, and that is Maestra.
yes.
Yay! Maisha is from Durham, North Carolina. Versatile artist creating life-altering tunes ranging from hip hop, R&B, soul, jazz, and even rock. Her act includes emceeing, singing, and speaking the word, but if you let her, you'll get to see a little acting as well. Not only does Maestra use her theater arts, acting, and psychology degrees from Purdue University to be a performing artist herself, but she has served in education as a theater art director, special needs instructor, and now as a self-employed theater production contractor and community educator who assists local students in addition to children across the country. In the single class rule, Maestra alludes to driving 40 miles away to teach the youth. Maestra tag lyrics is featured works such as End of the Tunnel by Lena Jackson and Say Something by, I think we have to, what was it?
Nasines.
Nacines is trying to represent for the youngins back at home who feel as if they're going through the struggle all alone. Maestro believe God's gifted music to disseminate love and power. And at the end of the day, it's going to be all right.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it. Welcome, Maestro.
Hey
Yay.
y'all, how y'all doing? It's good to
Yes.
We
see
are
all of
well.
y'all.
Thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. So we
Yes.
already have our first comment before we start. Jess Gold. Hey Jess, thank you for watching. She said I actually watched it tonight. Awesome guest.
Uh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All
and we
right.
also have Mr. PJ Yancey who just says, "Hey sis, hey bro, how you doing?" So I wanted to say, "Hey."
Hey, hey. All right. So let's get into it. How is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Good, good, good. All
Good.
right.
That's good. All
Blessed
right.
for real.
Yes.
So
Glad
we
to hear that. So I want to start us off with a letter. And this is literally called Dear Suicide.
Mm.
So it says, Dear Suicide, I want to thank you for the lessons you inadvertently taught me. For a long time, you held me captive in a shadowy place, whispering lies that I was unworthy, invisible, and alone. You almost took me out, but here I am today, stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Through the darkest moments, I discovered strength I never knew I had. I found hope in the smallest things, a kind word, a shared smile, a moment of quiet reflection. My journey towards healing hasn't been easy because Black men aren't taught how to heal, but it has fueled my resilience and reaffirmed my worth as a Black man fighting to reclaim his life. I am learning to embrace my story, my scars and wounds, because they are a testament of my survival. I am more than the pain I've endured. I am a survivor, a fighter, and a beacon of hope for others who are struggling behind closed doors. Because as a Black man, I've always been told to just suck it up. Black men don't talk about feelings. To anyone reading this who feels lost or overwhelmed, know that you are not alone. Your life matters and recovery is possible. reach out, seek help, and hold on to the flicker of hope that exists even in the darkest times. Thank you, Suicide, for reminding me to cherish every moment and to never give up on the possibility of happiness and healing. With hope and faith, a Black man who overcame.
Wow.
So let's start with this letter. And Renee, tell me what you're feeling after hearing this letter.
Um, I don't know. As I was listening to you read it, I kind of just thought about some of my clients I've had over the years, male clients,
Mhm,
my own husband, my sons, um, my friends, and having those conversations with them now. I think I have a better understanding of what men go through. I
mhm,
know as Black women, we kind of, we do our thing, we get our education, we have our degrees, we kind of do our things.
yeah.
But then when I look at my husband leave for work in the morning or my two sons, and I worry about, them being pulled over. So they have extra pressures that I don't necessarily have as a Black woman. Um,
Mhm, mhm,
so I think just in these last 5 years, really since COVID, I've definitely had to learn to be more understanding, um, more compassionate, more empathetic towards Black men, understanding that their journey in this society, in this world, is different.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
That's awesome. That's awesome. Eddie, you want to chime in?
Man, listen. As a Black man and as a therapist, I have had the privilege of talking to a lot of people who have felt like they've had no one to turn to or no one to talk to. And one of the things that I've discovered is that we don't we don't have a lot of spaces to practice emotional expression.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
And so when you don't have the opportunities to practice that in your childhood and adolescence, you grow up learning how to be silent.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
And so a lot of what I talk with people about, and even my own personal journey in therapy, learned was, when you haven't had the space to practice it, when you're in the world and you're reacting how you react, you're only doing what you know to do.
mm,
And so some people that are coming through the doors are learning for the first time
Yes.
how to talk, how
yeah.
to express.
Mm,
Everyone's labeled them as angry or labeled them as
mm, mm,
sad or labeled them as broken. But underneath that are so many wide ranging emotions
yeah.
that they've
Yeah.
never even given voice to. They didn't know how to. They were never given permission to. And so for a lot of people, they're learning for the first time what we wished we would have learned when we were children
Yep.
and adolescents,
Mm,
how
mm,
to fully express verbally, not just physically in the various manifestations, how to say what I'm feeling and to feel safe enough to do so.
mm. Wow. That's powerful. That is powerful. Michelle?
That it just, as some, I work a lot with veterans and active duty, and I know for sure with active duty, because they don't want certain things on their record, or they
Mm.
don't want to be perceived a certain way, a lot of them walk around with so much depression, so much anxiety, so much just on their brain. And like he said, just this idea that you have to always man up and never have that space to just be and just say the things that you need to say, and just say I'm tired, or I need help, or I need a safe space, like you said, to come home to, and just have those emotions, have those breakdowns, and let you know, like, this load is a little bit too heavy to carry and I'm struggling with it. But because they got to get back up and put on that uniform and go back in, they can't
Yeah.
just stay in that place, and a lot of them struggle their whole time in service, and then when they get out, because they've learned how to disassociate from their emotions, they have a hard time bringing that back together and being a regular normal citizen or whatever, or a human being even. So we've got to work on really creating those spaces, because suicide does become their out. They'd rather just not be here than to be here and struggle with it through this, or have people around them that don't understand what that means, what that looks like, or how to support them. I often have to tell women, like, who are in relationships with them, you cannot corner a man like that. If he wants to walk away in the middle of an argument, let him for a minute, because he's not abandoning you. He's trying to find a moment of peace so he doesn't feel all of that. So there's so many different nuances to that men in particular, especially Black men, but just men in general, go through in all walks of life, not just veterans and active duty, but they struggle a lot with that. Then they don't feel that they have a space they can come to. So even when they come into therapy, it's a hard road for me to get through to them, to just let them know, hey, it's okay. In here, there is no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. You can break down, you can cry, you can rally, you can rage. You're okay. It's okay.
Wow. Yep. Yeah. That was good. About to be a little teary-eyed. Maestra, what are your thoughts on this letter?
It's something how, well, I thought two things. I was grateful that I had been told in the past too, and this was by a friend before I ever honestly thought that there was a point in going to therapy. I was one of those people. A friend was telling me, no matter what, just keep writing, just even if it doesn't make sense, to keep writing. So like, there's a thin line between somebody telling you to journal and get those feelings out some kind of way, even if you don't know who you can go to, versus writing a letter basically saying, you know what, I don't have anybody to go to. So yeah, thank y'all, you know. And then the other thought is, how many times, like, do we pass people that seem okay in a day because either they're preoccupied with their work and their duties and all the stuff that, you know, their roles are telling them they have to do, like protect everybody, you know, take out the trash, to, you know, carry that chip on their shoulder because otherwise they're too emotional to be a man. You know what I'm saying? How many people do we walk past every day that seem normal because they fit themselves into that puzzle that we have shaped for them, and all the while in the back of their head, it could take one straw for them to be like, oh, I'm done. That was most I could carry. To actually put a number on that, we would be incorrect, because it would be the people that you would least expect it to be. So whereas you're like, I mean, such and such is okay. That's why I tell people, don't ask me how somebody else is doing. You need to ask them, you know, really pick in on them, because I could look at them and say, oh, they're fine. I mean, they're strong. And that's the thing that gets us trapped up all the time, because it's always the strong people, you know, the people that's looking out for other people, that's checking in on other people, you know, because a lot of times that's their way of protecting us, to making sure the other people are good, you know. So, you know, it's another reminder to keep your antennas up. Like, okay, I had somebody ask me, I mean, you telling me about everything that's going on, but I asked you, how are you doing? I want you to really talk to me about what's going on in the inside of you. How are you processing everything? What do you need? You know? So to maybe start asking people like the more in-depth questions, like, not how are you doing? Because really, we want them to say that they're doing okay, so we can go about our day, and it'll be a short answer. Start asking open-ended questions to people. You know, the stuff that they would be putting in a letter. Start asking them stuff like that.
Gotcha. That's beautiful. Shonda, what are your thoughts?
So when I heard the letter, it should definitely motivate other people to say it's okay to not be okay, and to be able to express their feelings and share what they're feeling in the moment. I'm going to go back to something that Eddie stated about the emotions that underline anger. I used to do a therapy session where I would talk about the anger iceberg. So, like at the top, you see all the anger, you see all the rage, you see all the substance misuse, whatever that looks like. But there are so many things that below the surface that people don't see. And we try to address the anger as what it is, but it's really a lot more than that. So we as clinicians, we have the responsibility to help the clients open up about those things up under the surface, because
Mhm.
that's where the real work comes in. That's where the real help comes in. And I think we just really look at people on the outside and judge them for how they respond to situations, but
Yeah.
not really get down to the meat of why they're showing this anger, whether it's depression, whether it's financial, whether there are just so many things that bring a person to a place of wanting to take their own lives. And we have to be willing to go through all of those things, not just look at what we see on the outside.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is
So
so
true. So
One of
true.
the things that I wanted to mention, hearing the letter, is he said something about as a child, like you're not taught how to deal with your emotions and things like that. And I want to ask you guys, like, what do you teach parents? Like, how do you teach parents to let their, especially their sons, express their emotions? Because I mean, I've seen where fathers or little boys fight, like, man up, stop crying, you know, don't you know that, I can't stand that, you know. Like, how do you start with the parent? Where do you start to let them know that they have to have a space where boys can cry, they can vent, it's okay for them to show their emotion? Because that's where they learn it. They learn it when they're young, that they're taught by their parents that you don't show your emotions. You're a little boy,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to cry. I've seen like one father like punch a little boy in the chest, like, man up. It's so sad. So how do you address that with parents? Or, I don't know if you have kids that, in therapy, how do you address that? That's for anyone.
So the I laugh because I don't see children anymore, because I have often found, for me, the problem wasn't the child, it was the parent.
The parent.
So I feel like a lot of the work now has to deal with the parent, because we got a lot of very unhealed, very toxic young parents out here who half of them really don't listen. They don't. I texted my friends today and I said, I'm really getting sick of these under 30 people, because they just don't. Yeah, you came in here to get some help, but you're not listening to anything I'm saying. But that's the problem. You have a lot of these young people who just, they were raised by somebody who wasn't healed, and now they're just continuing this
Mhm.
thing. So you
Yeah.
can't you can't teach a child what you don't know. So you have to learn as a parent, and you got to be willing to learn, willing to take that back seat and say, wait a minute, am I healed? Am I good? Because I can't pass that down if I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't just throw them into child in the therapy if I don't take them home and reinforce what's learned there. So, I can teach a child in just about anything. I can teach a child to be regulated, but if they go home to that toxic environment and they're
It's a
told these
waste.
crazy things, then it doesn't match up, and it is, I won't say it's a complete waste, because there's the seed. The Bible says one seed, one plants the seed, one waters, and God does the increase. So you can still plant that seed, but you need the complete thing. It's that whole village. It's everybody on the same page, telling these children that emotions are okay. A lot of what we have now is just people who have emotional immaturity. They don't know how
Mhm.
to handle emotions. So if we can just get people to understand that emotions aren't bad, you don't have to drink them away, sex them away, pray them away. Emotions are okay. You just got to learn to be in them and sit with them, and then you'll learn how to deal with some stuff. All right, I'm gonna
Right.
stop before I go off on a whole tangent. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No,
I
that's
agree.
I,
fine.
Yeah.
This is
It's
what people
That's
need to
why we're
hear.
here.
Yeah.
That's why we are here.
Yeah.
can I chime in on
Of
that?
course.
So we have to understand that mental health is generational. So if grandma handled it this way and no one told her the right way to do it, then mom is going to handle it that same way. And then mom is going to pass that down to daughter. Someone has to break the cycle. So I think it's okay at times, like Michelle stated, the child learning about it could plant a seed, but I think that generational change has to happen. Someone has
Mhm.
to say, we got to handle situations differently than fighting or alcohol. So we're dealing with generations. When we see a person sit in front of us, we're not just dealing with them. We're dealing with how their parents handled situations and so on and so forth.
That
Yeah,
is true.
that's true.
I
Right.
want
Anybody
to
else want to chime in?
Yeah, I want to kind of
Yeah.
also add another layer onto it. And this is another part of me because I like do the multiple things. So I got like maybe multiple things to say. So one thing I wanted to add to the generational mental health is also it kind of is interchangeable with social work as well, because a lot of times people find themselves stuck and use that excuse of, well, I don't have time to work on my mental health and I don't have time to be sitting here gentle parenting and all this other stuff. And I got to work 3 jobs. And, I'm the only person taking care of this child. And yeah, like after a certain amount of kids, you can't tell somebody, well, that was your decision to have them kids because the kids are already here. We can't go back and, reverse the decision that we already made. We already know we made the decision, but, at a point, what if we could not only provide like, okay, tools of encouragement or different tools about raising our kids, but also, okay, so here are some resources that can help you with this. So, we're giving you resources, and after a while, now you won't have the excuse of you don't have time because you got to work or you're stressed out because you're the only person carrying all of that weight. And that's a whole other generational thing too, because so is debt, so is poverty. Sometimes, you have a lot of these things happening to people. But I think going back to the topic of our sons being able, I don't have sons, but I was the 10-year-old up to my teenage years raising younger siblings, right? So I would look at my little brother somewhat like my son, like they was calling me the mean mom because I had to keep the house in line when my mom was working or, wherever else. And I could just imagine, my little brother actually having, his father present in the household to actually tell him, because it's one thing for us as moms to say, it's okay to let your emotions out.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's deemed as just an emotional being to say that, right? But it's another thing for the father to actually sit there and say, son, cry. What are you doing? Like, you just gonna bottle all of that in? No, that's a natural emotion. Like, and I think, and I've been saying this for a very long time, I think one of the biggest types of wool that they've pulled over, excuse my lack of grammar, y'all, but the craziest wool that they have pulled over our eyes is to think that only women are supposed to be emotional and only men are supposed to be logical, and also that there's no logic in emotion. That's like the craziest thing. Like everything about our being is a survival mechanism. Scientifically speaking, that's just what it is. So there's a reason why, your eyes are perspiring the way that they are. Like it's a reason why all of those things are happening. And, for somebody who you can relate to, that you will actually listen to, because that's another thing that we got to understand too. Everybody don't have to listen to us. Sometimes it's got to be somebody that looks like them. Sometimes it's got to be somebody that they think, oh, that person can relate to me. That's why I be saying I love my therapist, because like she down to earth like me. I don't feel like I got a code switch with her. I feel like everything I say, like either she is experienced or she know exactly what I'm talking about. Like having that person there. I can imagine being a male. I would want a male that I could look up to, whether or not that's a mentor. I love that Ms. Gerard said mentors in the village. That village is, I'm so thankful for mine, because I already know. I be dropping the ball sometimes as a mom. I throw it out there. I really do. But the fact that, my daughter's got like 5 godmoms apiece, like it's so helpful because, I'm the lame mom. I don't know what I'm talking about. I ain't been through nothing. I can't identify with my daughters, not in the least bit. in their heads, right? But somebody that they really admire and they look up to, if that person says the same thing that I just said, they're gonna take it completely and totally different.
Yep, yep, yep.
So yeah, like, so that's a whole other thing. I think we need to and I'm not saying just we the people on this call, but we as a people need to like really push for our children, even if we have good parenting skills or not, or a great household, all the resources, push for our kids to have mentors in other places as well, because it's going to be a point in time where they don't want to listen anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. Anybody else want to chime on this before we go to our next question?
I'll just add
Okay.
this little bit here
Mhm.
that like it's been said, when we don't know how to give our kids what we didn't have, that's when it's the room shifts in terms of the therapeutic process. When you're dealing with parenting, it shifts to, okay, how do we give you what you didn't have so that you're not taking out your childhood wounds onto your kids?
Mm.
Because a lot of times we'll
Mhm.
try to raise up our children and give them what we didn't have,
Yeah.
but it's not what they need.
Mhm.
Mm,
And
yeah.
Mm.
so instead of trying to give them what we didn't have, or trying to push them in the way that only thing that we know, we have to heal ourselves so that we can be attuned to what does my child need, because it may be that my child doesn't need what I needed. So if I'm healed, I'm not then trying to live vicariously through them. And
Yeah.
so it really takes giving it that opportunity for them to see that you're bringing your child in, but you could benefit from healing yourself as well, so that way you can be in a better position to give them what they're looking for. But it's hard when again you've been in situations and environments where you got to be the strong one. You can't show your emotions. You don't have time, like it was said earlier, to deal with emotions. I gotta make these ends meet. I'm the one that's holding it all together for me, big mama, grandma, all of them. And so a lot of times, people will say, I don't have time, to deal with what I need to deal with. And so, we make ourselves accessible and available
Yeah.
and give resources when we can, in hopes that it will help to make a difference.
Mm. All righty. Mr. Michael Valentine Williams says, love this. Thank you for coming on and watching. And Miss Raven said the same thing. Love this. So we got people that are listening to everything that you guys are saying. I just want to kind of piggyback off of that just a tad bit. I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. I had a brother, God rest his soul, and my brother, we weren't the kids that we hung outside. My grandma made sure we stayed in the house. If we did go outside, she had to be able to look at us from that third floor window. So we were in some ways sheltered, but my brother was, he had friends that's like, oh, you a mama's boy. You're not tough. You're not out here with us. You ain't playing football with us as a kid, and you ain't, so he had tough skin, because he didn't let those things bother him. And people that I grew up with, they used to hear that and they moved away from being close to mama and they were out in the streets, So um, I say that to say that what influence our children, we have to be very, very mindful of things, of who is influencing them. Now, everybody is mostly down here in the South, but there are still problems even down here, and if we don't get our kids the help that they need to be able to express themselves, somebody else out in the world is going to listen to them, and there are going to be some bad influences that are going to influence them, because the streets become their family, the
Exactly.
streets become their counselors, the streets become their therapists, so That's all I just wanted to say on that one. We just gotta be mindful of our children. Next question. Wait, Deneen, you got a question?
You go ahead.
Okay. All right. So what role does community engagement and cultural competency plays in effective therapy for Black clients? Whoever want to chime in, I'll leave that up to y'all.
I'll start on this one. I, my practice as a whole, we spend quite a bit of time in the community. That's how I know Maestra.
For
Um,
real, she not lying.
yeah, easy every weekend. We're somewhere, some event, some community event. And what we have found over the years is that many people didn't even realize that there were therapists who look like us. That was
Mm,
for them. So they'll
right.
come to the table and we'll be speaking, and some just come for the swag. They're like, okay, get this cup, this pen, or whatever. But some really spend time and talk to you and ask questions and want to get really get more information about what this therapy thing is about.
Yeah.
Because again, many of us were either raised in the church or what happens in this house stays in this house.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
or you talk to your pastor, but you don't tell your business to anybody. So
Yep.
to create a space or be out in the community, and I don't get dressed up. I wear my sneakers. I'm a sneakerhead. My jeans, my
Love
t-shirt.
it.
Yeah, they're
Hmm.
roasting, sweating right along with them, and just really being in a space where you're just talking to them about what's going on.
Yeah.
And many of them, like I'm very transparent. Like I was a teenage mom. I had 5 kids. I got several baby daddies. If that was a statistic, I met all of that growing up. So I definitely have my story, and I'm very transparent when I have those conversations because sometimes a lot of us carry guilt and shame from our childhood or the mistakes we may have made, and so we're too embarrassed to share those things, or we don't want to share those things because we want anybody to judge us. Or you have people who come in like, okay, I need you to fix me in 6 to 8 sessions so I can be done. And the reality is, it's not that fast. It's not that quick. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
And because I work with clients who are mostly 40, 50, 60 years old, it took you that long to get to this place. It's not going to take you 6 to 8 sessions to get out of that space.
Right.
So it's really just, they always say meet them where they're at. And that's true. You do. If
Yeah.
you want to hold things tight to you for those first few sessions, hold them tight. But if you don't leave my office crying the first time we meet, there's a problem because you better cry the first time we have our session together. Um, but no, but that really is my motto when people come in. Wait, you're not crying? Hold on, let me find something to do.
I ain't doing something right, right?
Why you doing so much?
Let me dig a little deeper.
But community is huge. Being out there, showing up, being transparent, being authentic, I think allows people to feel comfortable to sign up. And
Mm.
people sign. The last event I was at, we had almost two whole full sheets of people who signed up for
Oh,
therapy. So
wonderful.
That's
it's
awesome.
amazing to be out there, and it's
Mm.
important.
Yes. Yes. Anyone else want to chime in?
The
Mhm.
platform that I work for, I can't say what it is because
Yeah.
of our contract and what that entails. But one of the things that I love about the platform is that we emphasize cultural competence and cultural awareness. And so we are an a la carte service where you get to pick who your therapist is going to be off the list of everybody that's on the platform. And I purposefully made myself look very dapper, very hip, very cool, because I wanted people who see me to see their brother, see their homeboy, see their
Mhm.
best friend, and feel like, you know what? I feel like I can relate to him because like we got all the credentials, licensed for this many years, licensed marriage therapy, family therapist, relationships, trauma certified, all the things, but people are really looking for them.
Mhm.
And so most of the people that come on when they see me and talk to me for the first time, they're like, man, it's just like I don't even feel like I did therapy today. I feel like I'm talking to my best friend. And that's what we want to build with the clients that we have. And so being culturally competent has really been beneficial for me in so much that people want to know that you care. With everything that's going on in the world, especially in 2025, more
Yep.
than so in any other year, you know, people are stigmatized now more than ever because they're black, they're gay, their you know, political affiliations are all people. They feel isolated and siloed, and so when they come into these spaces, they want to know that they are going to be heard and not judged and not criticized. And so to see, you know, someone that looks like them, sounds like them, it helps a whole lot. But also being aware of what they've got going on. There have been a few of my Latino brothers and sisters that are dealing with, you know, the immigration issues that are going on now in our country. And, you know, to be able to have that space to be able to say, this is really affecting us. This is really affecting me and my family and things, makes a whole difference when we're able to meet them where they're at and be able to help them to get past whatever they need to get past to keep moving from one day to the next. And so that's something again that we emphasize in the space that I work, and it goes a long way to helping, you know, us as a community be reminded that we are here,
Yeah.
and that we hear them, and that they don't have to code switch or, you know, hide behind, you know, or try to over explain, you know, the whatever it is that they've got going on in order for us to understand them, because we've been in them trenches. We understand exactly what you got going on. I remember a guy who was talking about, you know, when 2020 happened and George Floyd and all that, and he was saying how he had coworkers who he couldn't relate to with what was going on, and he said it was so refreshing to be able to come to therapy with me. He don't have to over explain why it bothers him so much. I get it. And so again, it makes a whole difference when we're able to, you know, bring that awareness to the practice that we do.
Awesome.
You know, it made me think it is important, because I know when I wrote my first book, and I had my first editor, and she was a white lady. And so there was a line in there, and I said something about he had on his Timbs, right? And she emailed, she was like, "What are Timbs?" I was like, "Oh Lord, like I know I got to get somebody."
That's right.
It makes such a difference, those little nuances.
Difference. Like, right. So now I have to go in and explain what are Timbs.
What are Timbs?
You know, it's this and that. So I get, you know, with certain people, you know, you don't have to explain what something, you can just say it and then they'll get it, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely get that, you know. So two things that I wanted to say is that, you know, when we started this show, we just jumped right into mental illness. But no one actually explained exactly what is mental illness.
Okay. All right. All of us are going to have a different answer for that based on our experience, what we deal with on a daily and everything.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
Go
ahead, lead it off.
That's what we want.
I don't know if it's just one general definition of mental illness, but like, I mean, like exactly what is mental illness?
Okay, so yes and no. So all of us struggle with some of everything when it comes to just the broad topic of it. So most people, nine out of 10 people you see on the street has something they deal with, whether they deal with anxiety, depression, just struggling to just make good decisions or whatever. It becomes an illness or disorder or a concern when it's affecting more of your everyday, when you find that you can't pull yourself out of that depression, when it's more days than it's not that you find yourself in that low place, or you feel like you're having a lot of panic attacks, or you feel like your anxiety just won't let you sleep, won't let you eat, won't let you function, or you find that you're hearing voices and it's not the voice of God. You know, you're hearing things that, you know, where you're seeing things, or you feel like things are crawling on you, or you're having a lot of what we call somatic symptoms. So you start feeling like, I'm always got a stomach ache, I always got a headache, or I just don't feel good, and the doctors say there's nothing wrong with you physically. That's when we got to look and see, okay, what's going on inside, what's going on internally. And a lot of times you'll find that that's when it becomes a mental illness, when it's a problem, when it's something we actually can diagnose. So Denetra, I know with the insurance companies, we got to have a clinical necessity.
Yes.
for the insurance company to pay for you. So we always have to put a diagnosis. But I often tell people that your diagnosis is not your definition. That's not what you define yourself by. I have to put this thing down here, but that's not who you are. You are not your anxiety. You are not your schizophrenia. You are not your depression. You are not your bipolar. You are not any of those things unless I choose to identify as that. So you can have a thing and have the symptoms of it, but it doesn't define who you are. Because at the end of the day, I'm still Michelle, but the Michelle does have ADHD. Michelle does have anxiety. But guess what? Michelle is still also a businesswoman. She's a professional Black woman. She's a good woman. So I'm not going to define myself and lead with those things that I struggle with. I'm going to lead with that. I'm sorry. So yeah, mental illness is when it becomes this whole thing.
No.
Pass that collection plate. Go ahead.
Anybody else want to chime in on that one?
I mean, it's pretty much what you stated, but mental illness is really about frequency and duration. How long you're having the symptoms and the time frame you're having the symptoms. So that's usually how major depression is diagnosed, or any type of mental illness. Is really about frequency and duration. How often and how long.
Okay. Because it could be someone out there that's watching, that's listening, and don't even realize that they have a mental illness, or that there's a problem, because it's just like sometimes you deal with something so much that you don't even realize it's a problem. For example, I went to I'm up there in age, don't tell anybody, but I have arthritis in my knees, and so I've been going and getting gel shots, and the doctor's like, how are your knees? And I have to think about it. I said, I'm so used to the pain that when it's not hurting, in my mind, it's still hurting. Like, I don't even realize that it's not hurting because I'm so used to it. So there could be someone that's so used to being depressed that they don't know that they're kind of like they're in a depression state, suicidal, because they're just so used to it. I'm just like, every day I wake up, I'm depressed every day. Like, oh, it's the norm for them, and you have a lot of people that it's the norm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me just jump real quick with that. There's a thing we have, especially and this is why I deal a lot with women. We got that superwoman complex. I love that Alicia Keys song. I love it. I do. It's really cute. It's fun. It's lovely. However, we have to stop identifying with that. We got to stop putting that S on that chest and that cape on and thinking we're supposed to be everything to everybody. We don't ever check in with us. And that's the problem I find with most people, is that they don't realize the thing because they don't check in with themselves. You keep getting up. You keep making breakfast. You keep, getting everybody out the door. You keep going to work all day.
Exactly. It's a routine.
So we just keep, especially when you add church into the mix, because now I got to be there. I got to sing on the praise team. I got to clean up. I got to usher. I got to watch the kids. I got to come home, cook the Sunday. It's just, we keep going. So the goal of this, before you can recognize it's a thing, is to check in with you. You know what? Am I okay? Am I good? Am I happy? Am I sad? And the reason most people, like I think when they said we get them when they're 40, 50 and whatnot, is because they've been going so long, because that generational thing, like Shauna said, kicks in, and we keep saying, well, we got to keep moving. We got to keep going. We don't have a chance as Black people to just stop. And I'm challenging you all today who are watching, listen, stop for a second and check in with yourself. Are you really good? Because most of us are not.
Right. That's good.
And I agree with
most of us are not.
But for real, it's the truth, because for most of us, we are conditioned to act a certain way, and when it no longer works, that's when we usually get them in. That's when they usually come in, because they've been so used and conditioned to doing things a certain way, survival mode, that now survival tactics are no longer effective. And so a lot of times mental illness can also be, that what I used to do, it's no longer working for me, and I feel like I'm dysfunctional. So now help me to refunction. And sometimes it's not a matter of trying to go back to the way things used to be. It's an opportunity to flex a muscle you never knew you had. The power of saying no, for instance, because we're always saying yes to everybody, because we're the one who has to do it all, never do anything for ourselves. One of the things I tell about 9 or 10 people this week, we got to think of ourselves like the when we're on the airplane and they say, if something were to happen on this plane and you got a child, put on the oxygen mask on yourself first,
right,
before you put it on that kid. Because if you don't put it on yourself, something happened to you. Now what's going to happen with the child? We got to treat
Exactly.
ourselves the same way, where we prioritize ourselves as equals to the people that we serve. Because if we're no good, then of course we're not going to be any good with anybody else. But again,
Mhm.
like we said, we're so used to doing
Yeah.
that when it no longer works, now we think that something's wrong with us. And it's not that something's wrong, it's that we've just not flexed this other muscle. And now an opportunity is presenting itself to learn a new way of being.
Mm.
Woo.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that the one sign they can tell is when they start to feel stuff physically in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about
Mm-hmm.
that's why I started doing a bit more somatic approach to therapy versus just talk. So I got certified in EMDR and brain spotting. EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It's kind of using your body to get at the root of some of your past traumas. Because if you think about the things that have happened to us in our past and we never get a chance to process it, they just store away in our brain, right?
Yeah.
I hope everyone's seen that movie Inside Out too, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that movie right there, whew,
No,
it
it's amazing.
really, like, I don't know who created that, but they were spot on
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
aspects of it.
Yeah.
That somatic approach to therapy has changed many clients that I have worked with over the last couple of years, that talk therapy could not do. Not that talk therapy is a bad thing, it's just a combination of both has been very, very helpful when you start getting into your body, because our body keeps a lot of our stuff. So that gaining
Mm.
weight, that crook in your neck, that back pain, all of those things are not necessarily a medical diagnosis, but a mental diagnosis. So
Mm.
into your
He-
body, understand when you see that change. Um, like I turned 50 a couple years ago, and I'm like, "Who? This menopause is kicking my behind." I put on weight, and I love to eat cake, so it's like something got to give. So, like but stress, running a business,
Yes.
kids, grandkids, like all those things add to that. So you start to notice. So don't ignore what's happening in your body, and it's not always you have to go to a doctor. Sometimes you actually do have to see a therapist.
Uh-huh.
I
and that's
I'm
why I
sorry.
think it's so important to work on our mental wellness, which includes physical, spiritual, and mental, because all of those things are affected in our, when our mental health isn't right, definitely our physical is going to suffer. So that's why I think we have to talk about the totality of healing, which comes in three areas: your physical, your mental, and your spiritual. We can't just rely on healing one thing and not thinking that it doesn't affect those other areas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just to add on to like certain things that we go through in our body, a lot of times like the root of it is mental health. I tell everybody, like, I mean, it doesn't matter how many years I perform, I'm always going to have stage fright. Like, it's not going anywhere. I've tried to not think about it. I've tried to suppress it. It's just there. But even in trying to suppress it, I've noticed that it's been a long time since like the day before any type of show I have, my voice does not go out. Literally the day of the show, like something is so weird about my voice, and I'm like, I know I didn't pick up a germ that fast, literally just the day before the show. Every year I do Black Nativity Durham, right? And I mean, and the rest of the cast can attest to this. My range is nowhere near what it is any other time when I'm performing. It's just literally when I'm doing all of this preparation, I'm drinking my teas. I'm wearing my scarf around my neck, all of these other different things. But like right before the show or that week of, it's like my voice just vanishes into thin air. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I used to think it was just a winter thing, like, okay, my voice just going out in the winter, but it happened this year for my own show this year. Like, I mean, of course, other people, they don't notice it, but I can tell the difference between when I'm practicing, weeks before versus like that week is something else. Different high blood pressure. I mean, we know we getting stressed out. A lot of that is like the stress. So it's a lot of different, quote unquote diseases or conditions that we have. And really it's just stemming from, or not just, but it is stemming from the amount of stress that we have or trauma. So
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
Awesome. So now I want to bring up something because I have heard a couple of times in church, that um Jesus is a wonderful counselor and Jesus is my counselor. I don't need to see nobody. I got Jesus. Jesus is all I need. So, as Black mental health professionals and seeing clients who probably have, you know, are in church, how is that different from seeing like someone who's in the world? Just, let's talk about the church and mental health for a little bit. So, whoever wants to chime in, stories or whatever, let's talk about it for a moment.
So I'll say that my interest when it came to like even me studying psychology, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't out the gate like when I was a kid. I just knew I wanted to study psychology. It happened as I got older, and so just a little bit of about me. My grandfather is a reverend. My grandmother is the mother of the church. They raised me. So and hearing, and my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom to me, right? And she stayed home for the most part. So a lot of times when I was with her, in the house, if she wasn't cooking and cleaning, she was on the phone 24/7. Everybody in my family was always like, you stay on that phone all the time. But they had so many hundreds, thousands of members at one point in time. So a lot of people are calling to get counseled by the mother of the church. If my grandfather was not on the road, he had 6 churches at one time, some in Norfolk, Virginia, all the way down here to North Carolina, like a few in North Carolina. People calling him when he's not on the road. Even when he was on the road, by the time he got to the hotel room, people calling him. That because they're in need, they need to be counseled with. So it was a lot of traffic. That's how I got so used to being around older people, because it was a lot of traffic in and out the house. People would
Yeah.
come over to get counseling. So by nature, I picked up on that, being the person that people are comfortable. Man, when I tell you, like, a literal complete stranger will come up to me and all of a sudden, like, you wouldn't think nothing is wrong with the person or anything. They just come to me, and I don't know why they trust me with all this information, but I'm just like, you just telling me all your business like that, but okay. I don't tell secrets, but all right. Okay, well, God bless you. So, but a lot of that is people find comfort in these spiritual parents. So that is one thing. People do find comfort in these spiritual parents, especially when they come across people who would give the shirts off of their backs.
Yeah.
So whereas I don't believe that there's anything wrong with finding somebody who you look up to, that you can vent to. Now, I will say, so my brother taught me this. Yes. And it is also a good idea to talk to somebody who I don't want to say well-versed, but has studied the mind, who has studied many different tools and resources and different methods into getting you where you need to be. Because another thing is everything does not work for every single person. So also, this one person who their sole outlook is have faith in God. Yes. Have faith in your higher being. Stay on your dean, do what you're supposed to do. Yes. And also, there are some people, and we like to blame it on demons and everything else. Yes, people got demons, but let's look at the scientific nature of that. Really, if even when you look at it in a theater book, a demon is just something that is like PTSD, something that's haunting you from your past, something that you've experienced in the past. But that language of, oh, that's romanticizing what a demon is, a spiritual demon is, or a demonic spirit is, a lot of people are not going to be able to relate with that, just that by itself. you know, being able, some people, you got to put it in black and white for them, because they it's like you talking all this mumbo jumbo, but we're not understanding where you're coming from with that. So actually going to seek counsel from somebody who has studied it and seen the patterns, not just from church goers, but from people who are not going anywhere near a church. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you want to talk to somebody who has studied all different walks of life and actually seen it work multiple times over and over with different people. And also somebody who is not going to place judgment on, and this is not to say every clergyman is going to place judgment on you and going to hell. Yeah, everybody's not going to do that. But, you know, somebody who, one, they're on contract, they can't tell your business. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't say, you know, don't tell nobody I told you this, but you know, so that's another benefit to, you know, not just relying solely on the good book. You know, somebody who you might not necessarily have a direct tie to, that's somebody that you can confide in, and they can actually do the research behind what you need. I think that, yes, consulting with your higher being is important, but you know, it's a good thing to also talk to somebody up there. It's good to get therapy.
Amen. Amen. Anybody else want to chime in?
Well, if they don't, I'm going to call somebody out.
Well, I was gonna say I have T-shirts made that say Jesus and therapy is a perfect combination.
Ooh, that's a good shirt. I like that.
I believe that it is.
I love that.
Well, I was going to call out Michelle.
I was going to look to Michelle too. I was about to be like, Michelle, we better tag team on this.
I know, right? Because she's a minister.
I was going to say, because again, most of my clients are spiritual, love the Lord. I love the Lord too, but sometimes the Lord take too long to answer my questions and I need a little help. So, you know, but I do believe that, you know, many of us have been called to do this work. I do believe that. I do believe that He has appointed some of us to do this work. I do believe there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist and loving the Lord and going to church and having that relationship. Because when some of my clients be like, oh, I'm losing faith, or I'm not believing God and I feel bad, I'm like, well, the Lord told you to be anxious for nothing, or fear not, I am God, and all things are going to work together for good, right? I bring out those scriptures because I'm trying to not shame them, but to say He told you all these things because He knew you would experience anxiety. He knew you would have fear. He knew you would have thoughts that did not focus on what's true and what's just, those negative thoughts you have about yourself. So when you bring it right back, they do go hand in hand. What we're teaching and what we're sharing, I can definitely tie it to what's in the book. So when people come in and they've been church hurt, I have a lot of clients who've been church hurt. A lot. Michelle, I don't know if you've experienced that. Shauna, have you experienced that? But that church hurt is woof. It is rough. It will have people feeling horrible about themselves. And that's, for me, that's what you don't get from us licensed professionals. We're not going to shame you. You're not going to leave feeling like something's wrong and you don't have faith, or you dropped the ball, or you're not a good Christian. No, you're going to leave there feeling empowered, and that you're going to be just perfectly fine and find you a new church.
All right.
What exactly is church hurt?
That's fighting words.
Y'all saying, you help me out.
So listen, we got somebody that said church hurt is the worst.
But what is church hurt?
Okay. I'm gonna try and be as concise and as good as I can be with all, because there's a lot here and we cannot cover it all in just this one short thing. So maybe one day y'all can have a whole podcast on that, because that's what you about to open is a whole ball, is a whole can of what the heck. So Church hurt, in the simplest terms, is when you go to church and you expect people to be what the Bible purports, which are the loving, caring, good people who you can tell things to and it won't come back to you. And then it does. You hear it either across the pulpit or across a pew, across the aisle, or at the back door. You hear your business going on, or you get the people who just do you all kind of wrong, and you think you were supposed to be the ones to uphold me, uplift me, and do what you're supposed to do. But what we often forget is that the reason Revelation has all of these letters is because people messed up and they forgot their first love and what they were supposed to be doing in church. So we have got to stop holding church people up and remember that we're supposed to be holding God up and remembering who he is, that we're going to church for him and not for the people. Because if you go for people, people are going to always let you down. They're going to always hurt you. They're going to always disappoint you. So yes, there is church hurt, but it's more that people have expectations of people in church that they should not have, and that sometimes we put our allegiance into the pastors and the ministers and the prophets and all of these instead of reading the Bible for ourselves and studying it for ourselves and really understanding what God is saying, and also in understanding that you need to seek God for yourself and really get that. So the reason you'll need church and a therapist is that the therapist will help you go back down that line and understand that the reason I don't deal well with a minister or a pastor telling me what to do because I didn't really like the way my mama talked to me or my daddy talked to me and they hurt me. So I don't do well with authority figures. Or the reason I respond or I'm so shy is because I was hurt somewhere along the line in childhood, or I was molested, I was touched, I was neglected, I was this, I was that I learned anxiety because mama had to have everything right in the house. And so I didn't learn how to come home into a house of peace, or there was alcoholism or something else going on. So therapy helps you trace that lineage and trace those things back so that now when you go to God, you can say, well, God, I need you to help me heal from that so I can be present here and do the work that you've called me to do in an effective and a good way. And I'm not responding out of my hurt, my trauma, my past, my issues. I'm responding in that way. And so when people do try to come on and say that, I'm hurting, the people in church are hurting me, you won't pay attention to that because, baby, you are coming in a healed way. So I don't care if you talk to me. I don't care if you said good morning to me because I didn't come here to church for you. I came here to do what thus saith the Lord. And he told me to say good morning to you regardless because he knew that you woke up in a bad spirit and you let that thing overtake you. So now, listen, I'm sorry.
You got it. You got it. Keep going.
The other part
Amen. Yes.
The other part we have to deal with is that you have a lot of leaders who some were called and chosen and others put themselves there, who have not gone through the process of getting themselves the help that they need. So they come and they give messages out of their depressed state, out of their low state, out of their hurt state, and they do things that we call bleeding on the sheep, where out of their mess and their issues, they're putting that onto you, and now you go from church and you're all messed up and you don't understand why, because that spirit has transferred now down that way. So a lot of leaders need to go through therapy and get help themselves. My business is where God has me as far as my ministry. So coming to me, the people who come to me and want me on that spiritual level, understand that they're coming at a time where God wants to accelerate them and move them to that next level, but they got to do that work, because you can't go up if you're still heavy with all the stuff that you didn't deal with, okay? Because it's like that linus blanket. You're going to keep carrying them issues and them things from one house to another. So yes, you can go find another church, but baby, if you haven't healed from the stuff that you didn't carried with you, you just going to dirty the next church and the next house over. So now you running from church to church, but you ain't healed at all, because you can't just go to the altar and say, God, heal me, and that's it. No, baby, you got to leave it there. You can't keep carrying that back. But if you're not healed and healed good, guess what? You're going to have to go back to that doctor, because if you go home and you take them bandages off and you let that air get in and infects that wound, you got to go back to the doctor, don't you? Them antibiotics ain't going to do nothing because you keep adding more infection to it. Sorry. So listen.
All right.
You need a combination.
Yes.
Because God believes in the whole body. What I love is that we're all here and we all bring different avenues to it. So like I said, one plants the seed, one waters, God does the increase. So we must understand that we're here to help you on the therapy side, on that natural side. Then you go to church, you're supposed to get that spiritual side, but then you still have people out here messing around and not taking care of the natural side, that physical body. What I love about Shonda run. I don't run. I look at her running, but she is doing the thing to help her get that part out, to get that physical man together. And that's the part that needs. So it's a whole combination of everything. So yes, you need Jesus, you need a therapist, and you need a doctor.
Yeah.
So let's not leave the doctor out, because you need that too. Because you can't walk around here talking about I'm sick and God heal me. Well, stop eating them sugar cakes, baby. Look, this Renee said she like cake, but okay, I can't eat cake. I'm a diabetic. So if I eat cake, then guess what? I'm not gonna sit here and talk about God heal me. He's going like, well, I told you not to eat them cookies, dummy. So listen, let's add all of it together, and then we can heal the total man. Now I know I went all over the place, but y'all understood where I was.
Nah, not a problem. So we got one comment. Tania McGill said, leading while bleeding. Woo!
Woo.
Well, all right.
Mm.
All
Mm.
right. I guess well, woof. My original, you know what? I don't know, because
Whew.
my original question was for Michelle, and the question was, as both a therapist and a minister, how do you blend biblical principles with clinical therapy while respecting each client's unique needs? But I think kind of like sort of just answered that, you know.
Michelle answered that from the pulpit.
For the pulpit.
Well, you take in the person before you. You know, I can't apply one brush to all of them. You know, I am who I am in every setting you see me in. I promise you, I am this way in therapy. I'm this way in the church. I'm this way at home. I am me all day, every day. But with regard to I deal with the person in front of me, and I also let them lead, because you know I'm a minister, but I don't walk around and speaking in tongues all day in the session, nor do I sit there and pull the big, thick Bible out if that's not where you are at that moment. So if you come and you bring that and say, hey, I want to talk about this today or what I experienced, then that's what we're going to go with. And then if you say, hey, can you pray with me? I'm going to pray with you. I'm going to pray for you. And I'm going to lead you as the Spirit leads me. But no, I don't. It's all about what the person presents in front of me. And I can't start with that if that's not what a person is.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. Woo!
That was good.
That was really good. That was so good. Oh, I think, and Deneen, if you think different, I think we definitely are going to have to do this again.
Of course.
We are definitely going to have to come back and have you guys on and, you know, continue to discuss some things. But while we do have everybody on, again, this is the shameless plug. So we want you guys to plug your agencies, you know, everything that you have going on. So just take this moment, tell people where they can find you at, and, you know, whatever you want the people to know so they can jot. Everybody who's listening, make sure you got your pen and paper right now. You want to jot down these websites, these telephone numbers. You want to reach out to these wonderful people who are therapists. You know, you want to reach out to them. Maestra does therapy sessions on the end with music. So we want everybody to just grab your pens and papers right now and grab all this information. So Shonda, will you start us off? Where can the people find you at?
So I work for Right Path Behavioral Services, which is in Jacksonville, Florida. We provide therapy, psychosocial rehabilitation, which means that we work with the underlining or after issues that are connected to mental illness, like if they're dealing with activities of daily living, finances, vocational services. And then we also do targeted case management, which means we're really working on that social piece that may be affected by their mental illness. I also have a page called Movement for a Healing Mind. I've been in the fitness world since 2016. As Michelle stated, I have been running and doing a lot of fitness activities since 2016. I've done a few marathons. I've done some half marathons. I'm working on doing my second marathon February of next year. And I've found that running and working out has just been good for my mental health. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to join my page, it's Movement for a Healing Mind. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I provide I do like exercises and things of that nature. And then at the end of that, I give a mental health topic. So it's actually kind of free fitness and therapy.
Cool.
So check me out on my page. And also, like I said, I work for Right Path Behavioral Health Services. We serve clients that receive Medicaid. So we are definitely working with the most underserved population. So please feel free to look up our website, Right Path Behavioral Health, and we'll be happy to help you with any services that you're needing. And then my page, Movement for a Healing Mind.
Awesome. Awesome. Renee, where can the folks find you at?
All right. Like Shonda, I like to work out too, but just so I can continue to eat cake and cookie and pies. And if y'all send me your sizes, I'll make sure you guys get one of those Jesus in Therapy t-shirts that I told you.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
But again, my name is Renee Best, and I'm the owner of Anew You Counseling Services, and it's Anew, one word, ANEW, the letter U, and Counseling Services. We are located in Raleigh. We have an office in Durham, Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina. We have an office in Waxhaw, North Carolina, Monroe, North Carolina, and our fifth office is in Columbia, South Carolina. So we are a predominantly Black practice. There are 39 of us across all 5 locations. We do in-person and telehealth. And we are an eclectic team of therapists. So we have some therapists who do nothing but trauma, EMDR, brain spotting. We have some that work with families, couples. We have many that work with children. We offer in-person and telehealth for all of North Carolina and South Carolina. And I'm licensed in Florida, and some is Ohio. And, we're kind of spread out all over the place across the Eastern seaboard. We have LMFTs, LCSWs. We're just eclectic team. Like, it's a whole bunch of us, different ages and ranges. We do a lot of community work all over North Carolina, typically in Raleigh and the Durham area. And now we're in Union County outside of Charlotte. So again, our website is www.anewucs, so for Anew You Counseling Services, anewucs.com. And call us at 984-212-0028, and someone will be happy to help you. And we do take all major insurances, Medicare, and most Medicaid plans for North Carolina, and some for South Carolina. And that is on purpose. We want to make sure that we are providing quality service for people who typically would not have access to quality services. So
that's awesome. And thank you so much for giving that information. Michelle, where can the folks find you at?
Don't come to me.
Come on.
No, I really, seriously, I want you to come to me, but I want you to come to me if you're ready. I can see anybody at any given time, but if you're not ready to do the work, don't come to me. I don't like to waste my time, and I don't need money that desperately. I only really want you if you really want to do the work and you're ready for the truth of who you are and ready to really take a good hard look at yourself, because that's where I'm at in life, and that's the mandate that's been given to me. So if you're not ready to do the work, don't look me up. Go somewhere else, please. Please, I beg you to go somewhere else, because you're going to get your feelings hurt. Because like I said, I'm me all day. I have no problem telling you to go on out the door, okay? All right, with the love of Christ. So listen, if you're really ready to do the work, you can come on over to Dry Bones Counseling. You just look that up, www.Dry Bones Counseling. And the reason God gave me that, because if you read Ezekiel, I believe it's 37 or 38, I always get that messed up, but it's about when the prophet Ezekiel, he told him to speak to the dry bones that were in the valley. And he said, son of man, can these dry bones live? And so that's what I do. I help you to live again. I help you to stop existing and come on through and start living this life the way you're supposed to, especially if you really want to know God and learn how God wants you to live this life. So again, if you're not ready to go there, don't come to me. All right.
Mm,
Love you.
gotcha. All right now. Gotcha. I should tell the folks where they can find you and, and tell people about what you do with your therapy session events that you hold.
All right. Well, just to wrap me up, I am Maestra of Maestra Feel Good Music. You can go to my website at www.maestrafeelgoodmusic.com. You can also find me on social media as Maestra MCs. That's Maestra EMCEES. I'm a soul hip hop artist. And one of the tasks that was placed upon me, or a call-in was I actually began 3 years ago now. I began a hip hop showcase centered around mental health, where we raise a real awareness about mental health wellness, and we invite their therapy services, especially ones that are representative of our demographic. So we're looking for therapists that can connect with the audience members and the artists that are performing, and getting the word out about, hey, there are mental health services out here that can help you. Like Miss Renee said, like, I didn't even know, like, with Medicaid you could even get therapy. So look, we've been hooked up, baby. And I'm telling you, like,
I know
it's
that's
one of
right.
the I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest. I keep telling people, like, whereas I used to say, look, it's gonna be all right, you're gonna figure it out. Now I tell people, look, do you get therapy? Look, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but my daughter has told her friends, you know what? Once a week I talk to a therapist. Maybe you should talk to a therapist. And, hey, look, I'm trying to tell you. So that's the whole purpose of therapy session, getting that word out. We also do activities with the youth. It's a family-friendly event. We have Brain Stemology to also come out and teach STEM through hip hop. They teach them how to build neurotransmitters, listening to hip hop lyrics and all of that stuff. We got food, we got a whole lot of stuff for the community. Just, trying to get more Black people to get mental health services. And that is what my whole platform is about, down to my music and my performances, like letting people know, hey, it's time to get out of that dark space, because we weren't here to just dwell in the dark space. So yeah, so you can also follow my YouTube channel. Finally, that's Maestra Feel Good Music as well. Hopefully I got some jewels up there for y'all to listen to, and yeah, they help you get through your day. And I can't cut out without saying, like, thank y'all so much, Denetra and Miss D, for this platform that you have given us to actually have these conversations. Because when I tell you, I've been fighting tears over here now.
Yeah.
My tail's
You
been
ain't the
coming
only
out.
one. You ain't the only one.
Yeah.
This conversation right here, look, I'm so thankful that I was on this call to hear some of the stuff that I heard, because I still got some stuff that I'm working on. Look, it ain't overnight, and it's coming to fruition, but I just thank you. I thank the therapists that are on the call,
Yes.
all of y'all,
And
like,
thank y'all
y'all
so
are
much.
amazing.
Yes.
Well, I
Awesome.
have usually Denetra has a fun question, but I got a fun question tonight.
Okay. Go ahead.
So my fun question is now. I ain't worried about getting sued, because ain't nobody paying us no money. And it is what it is. We see the news, we see social media, we see all of that stuff, and we know who need what they need. Okay. So my question is, if you could counsel any celebrity, one celebrity, who would it? Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't even get that out. She rolled her head. If you could counsel one celebrity, who would it be?
Oh,
Because Lord knows there's a bunch of them out there. They got their issues, because it's all being played out on social media. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
oh gosh, just one?
Well, I mean, we can. If you want to do your top 2 or your top 5, I mean, what you got? What you got?
I'm thinking Tyrese. definitely needs some counseling. He has
Yes.
been definitely saying some things and even displaying some things of unresolved trauma. So I would want to
Mm,
work with him.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that
yeah.
is a
He's
good one.
always crying on social media. He always
Yeah,
crying.
he's always crying on social media.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Who's next?
There's this young guy I follow on YouTube. I don't know if anybody follows him. He's West? Is only up West, only up club for West. He's building his his homestead and everything. He's a young guy, and I just think he needs some sound advice and just somebody he can talk to. He just seems like he goes through a lot of depressive states and stuff, but he's so inspiring to so many of what
Yeah.
he's doing. So I think that's who I would, if I had the chance. Him. I think he would benefit from that.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's hit her up. So you can talk to Michelle. Yes.
Renee.
Renee.
Oh, okay. So I don't really get on social media at all. So I couldn't tell you half of the stuff that's going on. So if I had to spend time in a room with someone and listen to them speak, it would have to be Idris Elba. And he would have to speak in his English voice and not his American voice. And
You don't want to do therapy. You want to do other.
Yeah, you want to do something else with Renee. You want to do something else with Renee.
I just want to look at him, you know.
Yes, Lord. Michael Ealy, yes, sir.
Morris
I would've
Chestnut.
thought
Since we throwing names out, Morris Chestnut.
Hey, leave my husband out of this. Leave my husband out of this. I will take all of y'all out this show quick, fast, and hurry. Okay? Don't start. Everybody know that's my husband. But you said that you wasn't on social media that much. I still thought that you would have went with what's his face? Oh my God, I just had his name, the crazy one. Allegedly crazy.
Ooh.
Crazy one.
Kanye West?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, when I tell you guys, I don't watch the news and I very rarely get on social media. So Mike should tell you anything. I get people to post stuff for me because I am really bad about stuff like that. But to sit in a room with someone across from them, yeah, definitely have to be Idris just to, you know.
That Idris. All right, Maisha.
Doing. That's all. Ask how he's doing.
Man, so because she done said Idris, so it's gonna sound weird when I say Chris Brown, but I promise you is it's not solely for just to sit across from him and maybe ask him to sing one song for me, just one. But other than that, the reason why I would want to counsel with him, because there's a few that they got some age on me. So I know how important it is for somebody to feel like, okay, how are you going to sit here and counsel me? And I'm way older than you. But, you know, me and Chris Brown will be closer in age. And then also there are certain things that we've experienced that, you know, I could probably shed some insight on as far as how to get through certain things. So I would probably say Chris Brown. If not, I honestly have been wanting to talk to Cardi B a couple of times and just let her know, baby, let's talk about some things real quick. Cause yeah, I want to get in her head a little bit. So yeah.
Okay, those were good.
Those were real good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ladies, it has been a pleasure. We're going to take you backstage and then just hang out there for a couple of minutes. Denetra and I are going to close out the show, and then we're just going to have a little girl powwow for a few minutes, and you know, off the air and whatnot. All right. So thank you
y'all so much.
Everyone that's watching, you can reach out to everyone that's here. We will be replaying the broadcast, so in case you missed it, you missed some information, you can always catch it again. So ladies, just sign us out. Just give us something to end with.
It's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
There you go.
It's okay to not be okay. Work on yourself and understand that you don't have to fix it all at once. It's okay to not be okay.
I love it.
Yes.
I actually wrote that down. I might make me a journal about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am more, I like to tell people to give themselves some grace as they're working through their process and going through their journey, to give themselves some grace, to not be so hard on themselves if they're not fixed in a short period of time, to just, you know, take it as it comes and take your time and, stay present.
That's
Yes.
good. That's good. Michelle?
I want to tell everybody that God is still God. God is
Always.
still good. God is still awesome. God is still amazing, and He's still in the healing business. So,
Yes.
for all that's said and done here tonight, and all the jokes and whatnot aside, God wants to heal the total man. He wants you to be whole in every way. Even with Jesus, when He asked, He said, will you be made whole? Do you want to be right? Do you want to be good? Do you want to be fixed? You don't have to just sit at the top of the pool and watch everybody else get healed. You can get your own. Everybody's journey is different. Don't let shame, don't let finances, don't let anything separate you from the love of Christ, but also to keep you from getting healing. The healing is our portion. So go forth, find a way to get healed. Get that stuff off your mind so that you can be free to want in life and the things that God wants for you. So just don't give up on God. Don't think God's left you. He's still here waiting and available. He said, behold, He stands at the door and knock. So He's there. He's yet knocking. And sometimes He'll send you the way of a therapist or some other way to get to where it is that He has for you to go. So
Yeah.
don't think it's strange when you feel some of the things that you feel. It's okay to go talk those out and then go back and pick up that cross or pick up that thing you need to do the work.
Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Maestro.
Maestro?
Y'all made me go laugh last, and it's like every time she talked, I start getting perspiration inside of my head. Okay.
Yeah. Michelle will do that to you. She'll do that.
Maestro, you want to take us out with you in with a rap or something like that?
Yeah.
I could do that because if I had to think off the top of my head a second ago. Okay. If you happen to not like me some days is straight, I pray many peace and blessings your way. No hate. Let's hit the roof. If you make hits in the booth and telling nothing but truth, please make some noise. Raise your hands if you enjoy the sounds of young Coco. My skin is black. My arms are long. My hair is woolly and my back is strong. Never mind the hate. Keep your eyes awake. Get the cake and bake so you can demonstrate the place it takes to make the rate that breaks the fate that keeps you digging in the crates for shake. And I never seen a dove feeling sorry for itself. And I never seen a tear being shed when a heart made of chocolate come to melt. They eat it up, yeah, and how to share the wealth. And then you find yourself giving handouts like teachers and blame like the preachers. But really, you just needed fans in the bleachers. But they were just leeches. Hell broke from beneath us. Yet you can still win. But all you gotta do is shine from within. And I'll say it again. On this little rap rhyme, break it down like an enzyme. Best to them fine. Cause him fine. It's a thin line, so I wait. Gotta walk straight, and I'm taking no bait. Little fella, please just let me breathe. Bite down and teeth on this ring of fire. I'm no liar. It is dire that I inspire. I desire to develop an empire and empower all the conglomerates that I will acquire. Now bring the choir. We can raise them higher. Veggies, no Oscar Mayer. Man, this here is fire. My name is Maestra. Thank you.
Woo! I love it, girl. You almost had me tearing up. You know what? Put y'all up out of here because that was child. Ladies, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for being a part of the Shameless Plug podcast. Oh my God. Woo. I don't know. All right. Hang back and we are all going to convene in a few minutes. All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
Bye. Oh my God. Oh. I knew it was going to be awesome. I knew it was going to be awesome. What did you think?
Maestro said, break it down like an enzyme. What?
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Break it down like an enzyme.
That was
Whoa.
amazing. I mean, those are some talented everyone. Eddie had to break off, but you know, his input was definite value.
Yes.
And I swear, I love to see women doing their damn thing.
Yeah. Me too. Me
I
too.
love it, and helping the community. And
Yeah.
again, you know, I'm like, honestly, I'm speechless. I'm really speechless.
You know me, I usually have some choice words. I done took my glasses off.
Oh, you was quiet. Like, come on. You were supposed to ask all these questions, the clinical part and the
I did. We had great conversation. I mean,
I know.
but
You know what that means, right? You know what that means.
Yeah, part two.
Oh, we
Part
gotta
two.
do part two.
We're gonna do a part two. Most
We're gonna
definitely.
do part two. Well, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you know that it's okay to be or not be okay. If you need help, don't be afraid to reach out. Even if you got Medicaid, girl, they take it all. It's all good. It's all good. Okay.
That's right. Yes.
All right, Denetra, what you got to say?
Again, I just want to say thank you to our incredible panel for sharing their insights, their expertise and heartfelt perspectives. I hope somebody heard that you might have a pow or something near you and you were thinking about doing something, but you heard this and you realize that there's hope out there.
Yes.
And then not only that, please realize that there are men and women with your same skin complexion that's out there and they were waiting to talk to you and to listen to you and to help you.
Yes.
So you are not alone, but it does take you taking that step and reaching out because they're waiting on you.
That's it. All you got to do is reach out.
Yeah.
If that's it, have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Welcome to the Shameless Plug with Crimson Vibes and Deneen's Creative Mind.
We spotlight the real, no shame in the game. Two queens with the mic calling out your name. From side hustle dreams to headline steam. We raise your voice, we build your team. We don't whisper, we amplify. Your story's power can't touch the sky. This ain't luck, it's divine design. You show up and we align. This is the Shameless Plug, we show you love. Co-sign, you shine like stars above. Denetra and Deneen, the dream tag team. Plugged in, turned up, shameless and supreme. Let them watch you break the mold. Your biz, your brand, your story told. You're next, you're bold, the space is yours. We open paths, unlock new doors. No filters needed, just your flame. We hype your purpose, speak your name.